Most guys think that to attract a woman, you need to have the right look, the right job, or that perfect witty line. So they spend their lives optimizing the surface, hitting the gym, climbing the career ladder, rehearsing clever remarks, believing this is the currency of attraction. But what if I told you that the one thing that creates an unbreakable bond, the kind of connection the vast majority of women secretly crave, has nothing to do with any of that? It's something most men completely overlook, and it's the key to going from being forgettable to being the one man she can't stop thinking about. Look, a lot of men have been there. You do everything you think you're supposed to. You provide, you protect, you try to be impressive. But then, it just fades. She pulls away. She says those dreaded words, "I just don't feel a connection." And you're left confused, wondering what you did wrong. You followed the playbook, but the game ended before you understood the rules. The truth is, while what you do for a woman matters, it's often how you make her feel in your presence that builds the foundation of love. Lasting passion and unwavering loyalty are built on a very specific type of emotional connection. Most men miss this because they're focused on surface-level attraction. They've been taught that being a man means being a rock, impenetrable, unemotional, and always in control. This creates a painful paradox. The very qualities they were taught were strengths, stoicism, independence, become their biggest weaknesses when it comes to intimacy. A woman might be drawn to that stoic confidence, but over time, she'll feel lonely next to someone who's emotionally walled off. She might share something vulnerable, and instead of connection, she gets a solution. He hears a problem to be fixed, but she was sharing a feeling to be understood. This single misunderstanding is the greatest barrier stopping good men from building incredible relationships. They build a fortress around their own emotions and then wonder why nobody can get inside. In this video, we're going to dismantle that fortress, brick by brick. We're going to explore the core of what makes a man truly magnetic. We'll break down the 7 pillars of the emotional connection that women desire above almost anything else. This isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about unlocking a deeper, more authentic, and more powerful part of yourself. Master these, and you'll become the one man she feels she can be her complete self with. The man who provides not just physical safety, but profound emotional safety. And that is a feeling she will never want to leave. Let's dive in. Number 1. The secret of emotional accessibility. The opposite of being a rock. The first and most crucial pillar is emotional accessibility, which is the exact opposite of being that stoic, impenetrable rock many men think they need to be. Let's be clear, this isn't about being weak or needy, but about having the courage to grant access to your inner world and genuinely enter hers. The emotionally unavailable man thinks strength is being a black box. When she asks, "How was your day?" he says, "Fine," believing he's protecting her from his stress or boredom. To her, this isn't protection, it's a rejection. It leaves her on the outside, guessing what's going on in his head, which breeds anxiety and loneliness. The solution is the quiet confidence to be authentic, to let her see the real you. It's the difference between saying "I'm fine" and saying, "Man, work was frustrating today. I felt like I wasn't being heard in a meeting, and it put me in a funk." That one sentence does more to build connection than a dozen expensive dinners. Because it's real, it's an invitation into your world. It tells her, "I trust you enough to see me when I'm not at my best." Your first action is to replace "fine" with an actual feeling. Next, share a small vulnerability. This doesn't mean unloading all your deepest fears at once. It means having the strength to admit, "I'm a little nervous about that presentation tomorrow," or even, "I tried cooking that new recipe and I completely failed. It was a disaster." This isn't weakness, it's the birthplace of connection, showing her that you're human. Finally, let her see your passion. Don't hide the things you geek out about. Whether it's a deep knowledge of history, a love for building things, or an obsession with a particular film director, talking about what genuinely excites you shows her a part of your soul. That raw enthusiasm is infinitely more attractive than trying to seem cool and detached. An accessible man isn't a puzzle to be solved. He's a world to be explored. Number 2, the power of active validation, more than just listening. The second pillar, active validation, might be the most misunderstood skill in communication. Most men think listening is about being quiet until it's their turn to talk, or even worse, listening to solve the problem. This is a huge mistake. When a woman comes to you with an issue, stressed about work, upset about a friend, or feeling overwhelmed, her primary need in that moment is almost never a solution. It's to feel seen, heard, and understood. The guy who immediately jumps into fix-it mode, while often well-intentioned, is subtly invalidating her feelings. He's sending a message that her emotional state is a problem to be erased, not an experience to be shared. The solution is the art of making her feel seen and heard on an emotional level. You must communicate, your emotions make sense. I'm here with you in this feeling. To do this, you have to listen for the feeling behind the facts. When she talks about her boss changing a deadline, the fact is the deadline. The feeling is disrespect, anxiety, or injustice. Your job is to connect with the feeling. Use validating language, which is like magic. Instead of offering solutions, say, "Wow, that sounds incredibly frustrating." Or, "I can totally see why you would feel hurt by that." Or, "That makes perfect sense why you'd feel so unappreciated in that situation." You're not necessarily agreeing with the facts or taking her side in a dispute. You are confirming that her emotional reaction is valid. Before you even think about a solution, ask questions to go deeper into her experience. What was the hardest part of that for you? Or, what's worrying you the most about it? This proves you're genuinely interested in her emotional world, not just in checking problem solved off a to-do list. This makes her feel like she has a true partner, not just a consultant. Number 3, creating unshakable emotional safety, the foundation of trust. The third pillar is creating unshakable emotional safety. This is the profound feeling she has when she knows she can be 100% herself with you. Her good parts, her bad parts, her silly moments, her sad moments, without any fear of judgment, ridicule, or abandonment. This is the absolute bedrock of all lasting love and deep intimacy. Many guys accidentally sabotage this safety without even realizing it. They use cutting sarcasm during a serious moment, get defensive when she brings up an uncomfortable feeling, minimize her concerns by saying it's not a big deal, or are emotionally inconsistent, warm and engaged one day, cold and distant the next. This kind of environment forces her to walk on eggshells and wear a mask, and no real connection can exist between two masks. The solution is to be her safe harbor, a man who is consistent, reliable, and fundamentally non-judgmental. Your emotional stability becomes her anchor in the chaotic storms of life. To build this, you must eliminate judgmental language from your vocabulary. Phrases like, "You're overreacting," "You're being too sensitive," or "Why are you making a big deal out of this?" are relationship poison. They tell her that her feelings are wrong or invalid, forcing her to shut down. You also have to become a vault. When she shares something vulnerable, a past mistake, a current insecurity, that information must be treated as sacred. Never ever bring it up later as ammunition in an argument. This builds a level of trust that is almost unbreakable. Finally, practice emotional consistency. This doesn't mean you can't have bad days. It means you manage your moods responsibly and don't make her the target of your stress or frustration. It's about being able to say, "I've had a rough day and I'm feeling irritable. It has nothing to do with you." So she knows the man she comes home to is always, fundamentally, on her side. Number 4, the currency of consistent care. Small gestures, massive impact. The fourth pillar is the currency of consistent care. Men often fall into the grand gesture trap, thinking that the big, expensive, movie-like moments are what truly show they care. But the real fabric of a deep connection isn't built on a few yearly milestones. It's woven thread by thread in the small, seemingly insignificant moments of daily life. The man who saves all his effort for her birthday or an anniversary, but is disengaged and inattentive for weeks in between, will find his big gestures start to feel hollow, like a desperate attempt to make up for a deficit. A woman lives in the moments, not just the milestones. She feels loved in the everyday texture of the relationship. The solution is to show you care through small, consistent, thoughtful acts that constantly signal, "You're on my mind." These are like daily deposits into the relationship's emotional bank account. To do this, you must remember the details. It's a superpower. When she mentions an important presentation, send a simple text later that day. "Hey, thinking of you. Hope the presentation went great." This is worth more than 100 roses because it shows you are truly listening and that you care about her world. Also, practice proactive attunement by anticipating her needs. If she's had a brutal week at work, run a bath for her without being asked. If you know she gets stressed by a messy kitchen, Take 10 minutes to tidy up before she gets home. Grab her favorite snack at the store just because. The fact that you are thinking of her well-being is what matters. Finally, use non-sexual touch generously. Hold her hand while you're walking, put your arm around her on the couch, or give her a hug from behind while she's making coffee. These small points of contact maintain a current of warmth and affection that isn't just a prelude to sex, it's a constant affirmation of your partnership and closeness. We're halfway through, and if you are committed to building this kind of unbreakable bond, if you're ready to move beyond the surface and create something truly profound, I want you to pause this video right now and comment, "I build connections" below. This isn't just a comment for an algorithm, it's a declaration to yourself. It's a commitment that you are going to be the man who understands relationship psychology on a level that most will never grasp. It's a statement that you choose depth over shallow games. Go ahead, comment "I build connections," and then we'll dive into the final 3 pillars that tie all of this together. Number 5, mastering heart-to-heart communication beyond surface-level talk. The 5th pillar is mastering heart-to-heart communication, which means moving beyond the boring, transactional conversations that fill most of our days and starve intimacy. Too many couples get stuck in a routine checklist. How was your day? Good. Yours? Fine. What's for dinner? That exchanges information but builds zero actual connection. It feels like 2 colleagues giving status reports, and it leaves a woman feeling completely alone and unseen, even when you're sitting right next to her. The relationship starts to feel like a business partnership for managing life's logistics rather than a passionate journey shared between 2 souls. The solution is to consciously and intentionally share your inner worlds by discussing dreams, fears, values, and memories. These are the conversations that weave 2 separate lives into a single shared story. To make this happen, you must create dedicated space. You can't have a deep, meaningful conversation while you're both scrolling on your phones with the TV on in the background. Set aside even 15 distraction-free minutes to be fully present with one another. Instead of the generic, "How was your day?" ask deeper, more creative, open-ended questions like, "What was the most interesting thought you had today?" Or, "What's a goal you're excited about right now, big or small?" Or, "What's something you've been thinking about lately that you haven't mentioned?" These questions open doors to her inner world. But this is a 2-way street, not an interrogation. You have to practice self-disclosure too. Share a meaningful memory from your childhood. Talk about a movie that made you think, or express a hope or fear you have for the future. Your authenticity and willingness to open up gives her the permission and safety to do the same. Number 6, the magnetism of emotional stability, becoming her anchor. The 6th pillar is the powerful, often underrated quality of emotional stability. In a chaotic and unpredictable world, a man who has a calm, centered, stable emotional core is an incredibly attractive and reassuring force. An emotionally unstable man, on the other hand, is a source of constant anxiety. If he's overly reactive, easily angered, prone to mood swings, or consumed by his own insecurities, his moods become a roller coaster that she is forced to ride. She never knows which version of him she's coming home to, the happy, loving partner, or the angry, withdrawn stranger. This forces her to become the manager of his emotions, constantly trying to predict and soothe his state, a role that is exhausting and utterly drains away attraction. A woman can't feel safe, open, and feminine with a man who is a ticking time bomb. The solution is to become her anchor by cultivating a strong internal foundation. You need to be the thermostat, not the thermometer. A thermometer merely reflects the temperature of the room. It gets hot when things get heated. A thermostat, however, sets the temperature. Your calmness during a crisis is a superpower. It gives her the freedom to be emotional because she trusts you can handle the storm without sinking the ship. Develop this by building your own emotional resilience through practices like mindfulness, regular exercise, having fulfilling hobbies, and nurturing a sense of self-worth that is not dependent on her approval. When faced with a tough situation, train yourself to pause before you react. That small gap between stimulus and response can be the difference between a thoughtful, connecting response and a knee-jerk, damaging one. And crucially, learn not to personalize her emotions. When she is upset, see her feelings as information about her inner state, not as a judgment on your character. This allows you to support her through her emotions, rather than making her emotions all about you. Number 7, the final key, leading with intent, the purpose-driven connection. The 7th and final pillar that ties everything together is leading with intent. An extraordinary emotional connection never ever happens by accident. It's something you must consciously, deliberately, and intentionally build and maintain. Most men are passive when it comes to the emotional health of their relationship. They focus on the logistics, their career, their finances, planning the next vacation, and assume the connection will just take care of itself as long as the external stuff is handled. This passivity forces the woman to become the emotional manager of the relationship, the one who always has to bring up issues, suggest quality time, and monitor the emotional temperature. This role is not only exhausting for her, it's deeply unattractive. She wants a partner to co-create a beautiful relationship with, not another project that she has to manage on her own. The solution is to take active, masculine ownership of the relationship's emotional tone and direction. This isn't about being controlling or dominant. It's a form of positive leadership that creates the conditions for intimacy to flourish. You must be the initiator. Don't wait for her to complain that you've been distant. Be the one to say, "Hey, I feel like we've been a bit disconnected lately. Let's put our phones away tonight and just talk." Don't wait for a special occasion. Plan a simple date that is focused purely on connection. Intentionally schedule brief connection check-ins, asking powerful questions like, "How have you been feeling about us lately?" Or, "Is there anything you need more of from me?" This sends the powerful message that you are actively invested in her happiness and the health of the relationship. Most importantly, you must lead by example. You can't expect her to be vulnerable if you remain a closed book. You can't expect her to be validating if you are always trying to fix her. Be the first to be accessible, the first to validate, and the first to show consistent care. Your leadership sets the tone for the entire dynamic. In short, men have been sold a false story about what women want. They've been told to focus on their wallets, their muscles, and their status. And while those things might catch a woman's eye, they will never, ever capture her heart. The desire for a profound, soul-deep connection, to be emotionally seen, emotionally safe, and emotionally connected to a partner is a fundamental human need. It's a truth that's been hidden in plain sight. This connection is built on these 7 pillars. 1. Emotional accessibility, the strength to be authentic. 2. Active validation, making her feel truly heard. 3. Unshakable emotional safety, being her consistent, non-judgmental harbor. 4. Consistent care, showing she's on your mind through small daily actions. 5. Heart-to-heart communication, sharing your inner worlds. 6. Emotional stability, being the calm anchor in her life. 7. Leading with intent, taking active responsibility for building the connection. This path isn't easy. It requires the courage to look inward, to develop your own emotional depth, and to be present in a way most men are too afraid to be. This is about becoming the kind of man who has the strength to build something real. When you can provide this level of emotional connection, you become irreplaceable. You become her partner, her confidant, her best friend, and her lover, all in one. You become the man she doesn't just want, but the man she deeply respects, the man she trusts, and the man she can't imagine her life without. The journey starts now. If this video resonated with you and you want to keep learning the truth about relationship psychology and building powerful, authentic connections, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us create more content that cuts through the noise and delivers real, actionable wisdom. And be sure to turn on notifications, because in our next video, we're going to break down the single biggest mistake men make when a woman starts to pull away, and how to handle it with a calm strength that actually brings her closer. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching.